In 1945, as part of a secret program to intimidate the Soviet Union, the United States intended to destroy 20 major Soviet cities with pinpoint nuclear strikes. However, after dropping 2 atomic bombs on Japan, the United States did not have enough nuclear fuel to immediately produce new nuclear warheads and conduct a major bombing campaign. Nevertheless, both countries are using all available resources, technology, scientists, and spies for offensive and defensive purposes. Other countries are also trying to acquire technology and weapons not only to destroy any living organisms, but also for their own defense. In the next 80 years, there will be over 2,000 nuclear explosions on the planet. As you can see, only 2 of them are military nuclear explosions, Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, and all the rest are experimental. The most famous is the explosion of the Soviet Tsar Bomba on October 30, 1961, over the island of Novaya Zemlya in the Arctic Ocean. Soviet pilots parachuted a projectile 8 meters long and weighing 26.5 tons. The bomb could have killed 8 million people in New York City. A thermonuclear bomb would have destroyed not only New York City, but also the neighboring states of New Jersey and Connecticut. Let's look at the chronology of events. In July 1945, the United States tested an atomic bomb. The atomic bomb was detonated in New Mexico and was called Trinity or Gadget. The Soviet Union detonates the RDS-1 atomic bomb at the Semipalatinsk test site in present-day Kazakhstan, allowing the Soviet Union to become one of the nuclear powers. The third nuclear power was Great Britain, which tested a nuclear warhead on the Montebello Islands near Australia. And in 1960, France tested an atomic weapon codenamed Blouche Cantar, which produced the first explosion in the Sahara Desert, now part of Algeria. The fifth was China, which detonated an atomic bomb at the Lobnor test site in 1964. It was followed by India, 1974, Pakistan, 1998, and North Korea, 2006. Last is Israel, which some experts claim officially or secretly possesses nuclear weapons. Why only these 9 countries? In brief, it is complicated. First, of course, raw materials are needed. After all, nuclear warheads and reactors are based on the radioactive element uranium. Kazakhstan, Namibia, Canada, and Australia mine uranium but do not yet possess nuclear weapons. Why? Because it requires advanced technology and huge sums of money. Countries that already have nuclear weapons do not worry about them falling into the hands of their competitors. Why did the United States and not Germany first acquire nuclear weapons in 1938? German chemists Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann first succeeded in splitting uranium atoms. This allowed them to extract huge amounts of energy from uranium atoms and, as history has shown, cause an explosion. They found a way to access the enormous energy of uranium-235. Of all the uranium on Earth, only 0.7% is uranium-235. The remaining 99.3% is unsuitable for use in nuclear reactors or bomb making. Nor is there pure, stable uranium-238. Uranium enrichment, the transformation of soft U-238 into active U-235, is a very difficult and expensive process. In 1939, Germany was carrying out a secret uranium program. Its goal was to quickly use its knowledge of nuclear reactions to create the first atomic bomb. At the time, Hitler occupied Austria and Czechoslovakia and was about to invade Poland. Scientists realized that it would be impossible to defeat the invader if he had a new weapon. Albert Einstein, who moved to the United States in 1939, wrote a letter to President Roosevelt, warning that uranium could be used to make a bomb. He explained that one such bomb, transported by ship and detonated in a harbor, could destroy the harbor and surrounding area. This contact between the government and physicists led to the creation of the top-secret Manhattan Project. Some 130,000 people were involved in the project, including top scientists and engineers. They organized dozens of companies, built closed cities in the desert, and lived with their families. Dozens of Nobel Prize winners contributed to the development of the American atomic bomb. But where to get uranium? Apart from it, no one needed it. First came the African miracle, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which was a Belgian colony until 1960. The locals mined their own uranium for the civilized Europeans. When the Soviet Union began producing atomic bombs in 1945, the DRC had no uranium mines of its own. Most of the uranium for the first Soviet atomic bomb, RDS-1, came from Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. The remaining uranium was used only for domestic feedstock. Uranium enrichment is a complex process, and Russia is currently a leader in this field. In the late 1940s, Russia created a unique technology that no other country could match. In 2022, the United States purchased enriched uranium from Russia, and Germany and the United Kingdom traded the material. France has also acquired enriched uranium. There are hundreds of nuclear reactors on the world market whose main task is to produce cheap electricity. The quantity and production technology of Russian enriched uranium make it one of the cheapest. Therefore, Russian enriched uranium is an attractive option for countries dependent on nuclear energy. As for nuclear warheads, there is the problem of shelf life due to uranium decay. Strategic nuclear weapons developed during the Cold Cold War need to be updated and modernized. Interestingly, the United States, which once dominated the enriched uranium market, is now dependent on imports. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, historic deals and agreements have provided Russia with a large share of the global enriched uranium market. US-Russian deals in this area are of strategic importance and could affect the energy supply and defense needs of both countries. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukraine possessed 1,700 nuclear warheads, but was forced to give up its Soviet nuclear arsenal in 1994. Since then, Ukraine has continued to possess delivery vehicles, equipment, its own uranium stockpile, technology, and specialists theoretically capable of building nuclear bombs. However, Ukraine has neither large production facilities nor spare funds to build or maintain existing nuclear bombs. Back in '93, it was written that some of them were no longer secure, suffocating from temperature, and could only be stored in a dangerous state. Turkey and Saudi Arabia are the two countries claiming leadership in the Muslim world. Currently, only Pakistan has nuclear bombs, but Turkey has uranium stockpiles, its own ballistic missiles, and nuclear research centers. For today's Turkey, however, tacitly pursuing a nuclear bomb would be suicidal. Foreign trade accounts for 62% of the Turkish economy. Therefore, international sanctions would only strangle Turkey and its leader Erdogan. It is important to note that Turkey is a member of NATO and is under the nuclear protection of the United States. Whatever Turkey's relationship with the United States, Saudi Arabia is different. In the words of that country's former foreign minister, if Iran acquires nuclear capabilities, we will do everything in our power to achieve the same goals and target the same things. Finally, Brazil is the largest country in South America and the absolute leader in military spending. Most importantly, Brazil has all the technology for the nuclear fuel cycle. In 2008, it bought 4 French diesel-electric submarines through technology transfer. You can probably guess why. To build its own nuclear submarines. Why? North Korea has the largest number of submarines in the world. If need be, North Korea will build more submarines to get nuclear warheads to the shores of its enemies faster. But back to Brazil's enemies. Corruption, laziness, and poverty are bigger problems. To pursue nuclear weapons is to jeopardize our own economy. What about the fear of global nuclear war? There are many models and assumptions that suggest that if nuclear war breaks out, there will be a nuclear winter on Earth. That is, after a massive nuclear explosion, huge amounts of soot will be released into the Earth's atmosphere. This will block out the sun, and the Earth will become as cold as the North Pole. Then there will be famine and a war for resources and survival. In addition, during the Soviet era, Marshal Zhukov conducted serious nuclear tests. On September 14, 1954, a nuclear bomb exploded at the Totsk test site in the Orenburg region. Under the action of the shockwave in the pseudo-center, airplanes burned and tanks overturned. Then not only did the nuclear bomb explode, but hours later, tens of thousands of soldiers and military equipment conducted a training attack on the contaminated area. This exercise, known as Snowball, proved that in the event of a nuclear war, no one would cancel a conventional military war. In my opinion, this proves that it is not nuclear weapons, but other weapons that we should be afraid of. The tombstone of the victims of the atomic bombing in Hiroshima bears the important words, "Sleep well and do not repeat the mistakes of the past." I call on all those who have come into contact with any weapon, not only nuclear weapons, to remember these words.